Also, the next panel discussion that we have is on the Indian tooling industry, expand your horizon. And for this, I'm going to be inviting the moderator. The moderator shall take it forward by introducing the panelists and then taking it forward. Ladies and gentlemen, today, this is the last panel discussion that we have for the day. And for this, may I now invite our moderator, Mr. Arvind Chawla, Consultant, Innovative Solutions, Injection Molds, Automation and Project Management. So as he joins us up on stage, he's going to be introducing our panelists who are going to be joining us for it and then taking it forward. So we're just getting a little bit of setup done. While we get the setup, I'm going to have a chat with the moderator here. Just have a word with him. Sir, thank you. Could you just grab a mic? How are you feeling today?
I am feeling good, thank you. How are you feeling?
So good until now. So we have a lot of the people that have come here. Yeah. You can see that the energy is still there. Okay. Do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, there are tool makers, I know them.
Yeah. So he says that the energy is still there, even though it's almost the end of the day. So ladies and gentlemen, could we have a round of applause from all of you? Come on, let's see the kind of energy that we still have after a power-packed day one at the ITS. Fantastic. So I'm going to hand it over to you, and I'm sure that the discussion that you're going to be having with the panelists, it's going to be insightful, fruitful, and there are going to be multiple takeaways for our audience. So over to you, sir.
So I would like to invite our speakers, Mr. Dayanand Reddy, Mr. Raju Desai, Mr. S.K. Jha, Mr. Anand Wadekar. So till now, I can see the watch is 4:45 and in the program it's written 4:45. So if we can maintain since morning to evening, then definitely we can make the tools also on the time. So no worries for that.
I suggest you also take a chair.
Yes, I will take a chair. And Vishal, in the morning you told you are between lunch and people, so you can understand my pressure. I am between cocktail dinner and then. So I would like our speakers to introduce themselves because everybody knows them and what they say, I want them to have like a walking a talk so we can really give the benefits to the tool makers. And in our 40-minute session, we would like to address the basic points, the points connected with the practical problems and not only the theory and big figures or numbers. We can Google and see which is the growth, what we are going, where we are going. But the practical problems, what a tool maker, while working on a tool or while machining or while assembly faces, we would like to throw the light on that. And the topic is expand your horizon. And with that, I would like to request speakers, Mr. S.K. Jha, to introduce yourself.
I am S.K. Jha from Alpla, India, Hyderabad. I head the mold shop for injection caps and closures. Based out of Hyderabad, Alpla has 6 mold shops globally, and the 6th one is based in Hyderabad in India. The mold shop has come up from 2018. We started this greenfield project, and since 2020 December it is operational. That's my brief introduction. Thank you.
Mr. Raju bhai. Okay, then we will go sequence. Raju bhai, no problem. Okay.
Thank you. My name is Raju Desai, and I am heading a group of companies, name of Jyoti Plastics. We are into business from last 65 years, and we process plastics by injection molding, extrusion, compounding, composite molding, and we also have our captive tool room. Though we are outsourcing of 70% tools from outside, but we have our own captive tool rooms. And we are specializing in engineering with plastics. We deal in engineering plastics and engineering with plastics. So that's about me. Thank you.
Anandji.
Yeah, good evening. First of all, let me thanks Tagma for inviting us here to share our experiences about what we say is tooling. And I'm deeply honored to share this dais with the stalwart of the industry. In fact, a lot of inputs we have received from all these gentlemen, so that today what we are is because their inputs. I'm Anand Wankhede. I look after a world-class tooling facility of Schneider Electric. Earlier it was a part of Larsen & Toubro. We operate from Baroda, Gujarat. Thank you.
Last but not the least, Mr. Dayanand Reddy.
Good evening, everybody. The way Mr. Anand said, I also congratulate Tagma for conducting this wonderful ITS annual event. Most of you know me and our company. I am Dayanand Reddy, founder and the managing director of Vasantha Toolcrafts, established in the year 1989. We started with just 4 basic machines and 10 people. Today we operate 3 tool rooms in Hyderabad. 2 are relatively small, 3rd one is relatively bigger. And 2 molding shops in Hyderabad, 1 modern tool room in Austria, in Europe, a small mold making shop in Cincinnati, USA. We have also forayed into, in a small way, into MIM with just 2 furnaces. And we employ 500 people in tool making and another equal number in molding business. We export about 60% by value. We operate 3 robotic cells in Hyderabad and 2 robotic cells in Europe. And we believed in 3 M's, that is men, machines, and materials. And we also believed in the quality right from the beginning. So perhaps that's how we could achieve whatever little we achieved. In the initial years, we used to make molds for switchgear industry. That's how I know a lot of switchgear industry friends here. And since about 15-20 years, slowly we got shifted into FMCG segment. So today we specialize in high cavity, low cycle time, faster, fully art runner, valve gates and thermal gates, class 101 molds, etc. in the FMCG segment. Little bit also into pharma and medical. And since about 2010, we also make bi-injection and tri-injection molds using different platforms, core back, a punch back, and rotary and cube. Also the lift and rotate, stacked lift and rotate mechanism for toothbrush, etc. This was a long introduction, Arvind.
No, I will continue with you only. Like we are hearing since morning that Indian GDP is now in number 5. And the challenging is, prediction is 2027 we will cross Germany, and 2029 we will cross Japan, and we will be number 3. And also we heard that the tooling industry is 18,000 crore worth of business in value-wise. 70% is domestic produced and 30% is still imported. And further projection is by 2025 it will be 26,000 crore. So these figures are really very big. So are we really equipped? Most of the part or the mold comes from automotive. So what are the other than automotive options for Indian tool makers? And are Indian tool makers equipped to take this challenge?
Yeah. Thank you. It's a big question, of course. Lot of deliberations have already happened on auto sector or automotive industry. And for Indian tool making industry, auto sector is a big customer segment for us. The other segments are electrical switchgear, FMCG, irrigation, writing instruments, and the packaging is FMCG. And then the new sectors can be medical and pharma, EVs, the mobile phone industry, computer peripherals industry, and whatever other contemporary product lines, etc., can offer new fields. Coming back to your main question, so are we ready to take on with the world, or the main competitor is, of course, China. So are we? We are not. So this is not now. I mean, for many years, for many decades, they are ahead of us, and we are nowhere. So we have been getting such opportunities. Even today, for whatever reason, we are at a very good sweet spot today. But are we in a position to take it to our advantage? We are not. So every 5-10 years, we used to get such opportunity. But we have been missing the boat every time. And today also, we are almost close to missing the boat again. The reason is we have, in fact, we don't even have the full data. I request all of you, when you fill up the feedback form, kindly write your company's turnover on top. Tagma office doesn't even have the information. How many tool rooms do 50? How many tool rooms do between 50 and 100, 150, 150? So there's no data. So kindly fill it up. So many tool rooms are below 50 crores. So they are small in size. And they don't want to increase their size. It's not that they don't want to, but there are limitations. Your finance is expensive. Your infrastructure, land is expensive. And there's no kind of assured business. Maybe in other countries, there's a kind of an understanding between the customer and the supplier. That is, why that much? Even my small vendor, I assure him that you put this machine, I'm going to load you. And when he is suffering for money, we support them. So the way we take care of our vendors, all of us, our customers don't take care of us. So with all these difficulties, small tool maker doesn't want to increase his size. So he feels, okay, I'm doing 50, 60 or whatever, or say below 100, etc. And I'm able to handle this much, I can handle this much only, and let me be happy within this. There's no kind of cluster or cooperative concept. There's no kind of common facility center, because everybody cannot have all the equipment. You may need 20 machines. One tool maker cannot put 20 machines of different capacity, different sizes, different variety, etc. All that. So when we have a common facility center, or when we have a cluster concept, etc., so that can take care of that bottleneck. So this is one segment because of which we have been missing every time, and unless something is done at a rapid pace, we won't be able to catch up with the competition. This is one. And any business is between the supplier and the customer. So here, we being the suppliers, we are very small in front of a big customer. And always he dictates the terms, because he's so big and we are so small. Whereas it should have been other way, that he should say that, yes, I'm going to give you this. Why don't you increase your facility? Why don't you do like this? I'm going to support you. I'm going to give you the money. I'm going to give you the advance. I'm going to give you. It should be a hand-holding. They should think that if tool makers grow today, they're going to support them. It's not that tool makers are going to make tons of money and then they're going to go somewhere. It will be that their life will be made easy. They don't have to travel elsewhere for procuring their dies or molds, whatever. So, in fact, their KPIs, the senior management should fix to the middle management. The KPIs, KRS should be, you develop the local mold makers, you support them, whatever way. It's not that how much money you have saved, L1, L2, L3. So that should not be their KPIs. Their KRS KPI should be how many tool makers you have developed locally, so that next year or next to next year we don't have a problem of importing the molds, etc. So, but unless something is done, we can speak today and then from tomorrow morning everything is same, so nothing changes. So we have customers, we have suppliers, we have governmental agencies, we have associations, organizations like TAGMA, I mean, if it is for plastics, Plast India, etc., all that. So unless all these people sit together and debate, and then unless debate thoroughly that how can we stop the imports, how can we become self-sufficient, then only some solution can be found. I took governmental agencies here, the name of them, because they can float lot of common facility centers, they can finance. In fact, they have a scheme, but then they never execute it. And then associations, because they should take the lead role in mediating all this. And even with the suppliers, they should discuss. When 10 tool makers wants to buy some equipment, they can negotiate a price for us and then get the equipment at much cheaper price. So with all this, so of course, a lot of things can be done, but then these are the few ideas I wanted to share with you. Thank you.
Definitely, I agree with you and hope everybody will also be aware that in this type of business strategies, we focus on risk and profit. And hope with Tagma we can add the third point in the business, which is purpose. So if there is a purpose, then definitely the risk will be less and profit will be more. And the purpose will be to come together and take tooling industry forward together. So Raju bhai, if I come to you, as you told that you are more than 65 years old company, and your company has seen from very beginning of the technological part and you took it forward to next level. So what was your experience with the tooling industry? What challenges you faced? And as you make the tool yourself and you get the tool from outside, what difference you find and how you will explain us to our audience?
Yeah, thank you, Arvindji. So, you are right, after completing my engineering in 1980s when I joined my company, I have seen tool maker in Bombay Talkies compound where they were chipping. They were making the mold by chipping and then by hand. And then using the template and, from those days, today I hear that the metal printing. I mean, there was a session where molds can be printed. So the transformation of industry has happened for sure. Technology has evolved. Now, tooling industry in India has transformed from art to science. Now it's a full-fledged, full-blown business. And there's a huge opportunity. I think when we are talking and thinking about this 5 trillion economy, a dream of our Prime Minister in time to come, tooling is going to play very, very pivotal role. It is maybe in case of plastic processing or metal stamping, die casting, wherever you say. And my big question is, are we ready for that?
Yes.
And what is our game plan? I mean, Tagma is a leading tool-making industry from the front. So where are we going and how are we going to bridge that gap? That I would like to see. And one more my observation toward this Indian tool-making industry is that it is still handled, you can say, it's not professionalized. It is still most of them are at the entrepreneur level, and that has to be taken to the next level. And association can do it, and APMA plus India, but that's what we are doing now. So how to take them to the next level. And I think once that happens, I think barring few tool rooms like Alpla or them, I think most of the tool rooms whom I know, they are in a nascent stage and they have to transform into the professionally managed company. Technologies, I heard Vishal, I heard Mitsubishi, I heard steel suppliers. I think technologies are available, but then we need to assess what is the readiness for industry to absorb that and transform into the reality. So that's what I'm thinking. I think talent is there, and now we have to decide at what pace we can run and embrace this opportunity. So that's my observation. And one more take from Dayanand Saab is that we should network. Like tooling industry is a backbone of any industry, like sheet metal, die casting, metal processing, or plastics. They should network with other related and partnering association and drive together. So I think that's what my take on this. A lot of things are happening. Technology are transforming the world. It's up to us how fast we absorb and convert into the reality. Thank you.
And that's true. When you told chipping, I still remember 1990 when I joined Accurate Molds and Dies in Santa Cruz, Vacola, and there were I think that time some 70, 75 people. And there was no CNC, no EDM, no wire EDM. Only milling, lathe, and chisels. And there were technocraft. They used to make the art on the mold plates, like there were fruit baskets or research designs, or they will make some animal or something with chisel. And when I have seen, when he put the chisel and start hammering, 80 to 90 chip used to roll like this in one shot, and then it will break. I think now people don't remember what is cheni and hathodi. They will go simply to replace the thing or buy. And then after that I joined Mutual, that was a different way of working. And then it was a Make-a-Plast collaboration, so European tool room I have seen. And then MD of German tool room. So a lot of things from chisel and hammer to complete automation where there is no hand required. Even the changing of mold insert is done by a robo. Yeah. So they have some plan, one mold with 4 different components they want to produce, and automatically the insert will be unloaded, new one will be put, and they will produce again, all by robo. We don't need that much, but at least we have to take what is required for us, and what is low-hanging fruits we should definitely pluck. So Mr. Anand, as I know, 3 decades you also have spent, you also must have seen all these things, and you are into electrical and those type of components which are very, very precise. You talk about microns since many years. So what is your experience, what you have seen the change, what you have done the change, how you look at the tooling industry, yourself and others?
Yeah, well, I was very fortunate to experience 2.5 decades of tooling. And of course, as a customer as well as the supplier. Customer because we work with a lot of people like you to get the tools, and certain critical tools we used to develop in-house. The first decade I've seen our customer was very lenient on the front of quality, delivery and cost. And because of that, probably we focused on only quality aspect of the tooling, not the cost or the delivery part of it. But after 10 years, and those are the era where we had everything, like we had an expert designer, maybe 15, 20 years experience, expert tool maker, maybe 30, 35 years of experience of assembling the tool, machine technicians, again 20, 25 years experience. But suddenly after 10 years, what we found is the customer demand is changing. Why? Because their customer demand is changing. Like I belongs to switchgear industry, the product started shrinking. Okay, the product which has like 6 by 6 inch, now it comes into 2.5 inch products with the same functionality or better functionality. That means product is shrinking. All plastic parts are shrinking. All sheet metal components or mechanisms are shrinking without affecting the functionality of the part. Because of that, a customer introduced a lot of new engineering plastics, lot of sheet metal components. Now, when engineering plastic comes into picture, of course, this is many times a nightmare for a tool maker. And such demand started putting pressure on us. Apart from that, we lost a lot of experienced manpower when we shifted our tooling facility from Mumbai to Baroda. So we need to start from scratch. We always had these challenges. Customer demand is increased. Lead times are, I'm saying people used to expect a product lead time of 3 years, now they are demanding few months. So you can imagine the kind of tooling pressure which we have. And again, no skill. So what we started our own training school, started capturing all our mistakes, because our mistakes are the best teacher for us. And slowly we started building our workforce. Today, I'm proud to say that close to more than 500 students are passed out from our training school. Best of best are absorbed by us, and this is the way we build our technology as well as the workforce. I think our tooling friends sitting here also facing the similar challenges, because when we say we want to attend to the customer requirement, the biggest challenge is skill, because I think machines are available and faster machines are not a solution. This is my personal opinion, because I have seen the best of best machine will not deliver best of best result if the process around that machine is the best. So today I think time has come where we have to say, experience is not available, fine. Can we build the expertise? Okay, take freshers, educate them from the fundamentals, make them experts. The experts will bring excellence and excellent processes. What I have seen early, people used to spend maybe 20% time in planning and 80% in execution. Even that 80% execution, you will find it is split into, say, straightforward 20% execution. There is a halt of 10% where a lot of deliberation or rework, rejection will be taken care. Again 20% and so on. I think time has come where we need to spend at least 60 to 70% of time in planning and only 30% execution. Why I'm saying this is what we experienced in last 10 years, that we have started spending more time in planning, whether it is a design using simulation tools, whether it is a process planning where right estimation with the mathematical models, or using project management softwares, doing CAM simulation much before even feeding the programs to the machine. Today in my shops we don't have programmer. We just feed the 3D model and we get the programs done, and next day morning the machine starts running. So we started putting most of the efforts on planning so that our execution is smooth. And believe me, when your execution is minimum, your rework and rejection level will come down. I think tooling, the biggest challenge is first time right. If you do first time right, I'm sure we can achieve low cost, very high quality, and very low lead time. And this is what today's customer is demanding. So I think focus on first time right by process improvement is very, very important. There are a lot of examples I can share, but I think we have a short of time. But I think this is the key information I have to share with you. Start spending time in planning. Unfortunately, the tool maker, we are impatient. Once the raw material is in our shop and we start cutting the job. Correct. And then we found that something went wrong and probably you need to restart from scratch. I'm sure everybody must have experienced this. If we are able to avoid this by robust planning, I think we can conquer the world.
No, rightly said. You touched 2 points. One is planning, project management, and second is experience. So now if I ask my audience, because everybody is experienced more than 15 to 20 years, I can see. So how many of you see or believe that practice makes man? There's a saying, perfect. How many you believe? Not many hands. It's wrong. Take your hand down. Practice will never make you perfect. It will make you permanent. If since 20 years we would have doing right practice, then we would have already crossed this challenges what we are talking about. So we need to change the practice to a perfect practice. What is perfect practice? You should know now. Definitely when you are seeing somebody doing something better than you, understand from him, that will be a perfect practice for you. So you have to set some goals or some challenges what you are facing, how to resolve those, which you have not resolved, then you have put yourself in a way of working which was a solution for you, but somebody else must be doing something better than you, and if you follow that, that will be a perfect practice for you. And that's why I always appeal to people to become member of Tagma, join hand together and see if somebody has solved this problem already before you, so you don't have to waste those times. And secondly, for project management, as Reddy sir told, I heard him, that the moment you receive the raw material, you start cutting. Anybody knows what is the critical path method? It's taught in big MBAs and everybody studies that. But have you done in your tool room critical path method? When you ask your boss or your senior, should I do it or not? He will either say yes or no. You will not know why he told yes or no. But in his brain, he must have done some critical path method. If you put these things on paper, you will come to know a way wherein some things you should not start working on. You can delay, it will still not affect, and something you should start immediately. Just those combination will give you a perfect project management. And with this scientific way, at least I have achieved some better timelines. Because when we quote, we have something in our mind that we will finish this job in this much time. And we start executing. then you are not on the shop floor. You cannot be on the shop floor all the time. So the people who are working, if you have this discussion of critical path method, it will give a huge benefit of that. And the latest technology and trend, I would like to ask Mr. S.K. Jha that you are already in this industry where the very, very precise tool making is there. And Industry 4.0 is in talk now. So what is your experience of this hybrid manufacturing, and how you have implemented those practices and what benefits you got?
Okay. So, till 2018, whatever experience I have in product development or tooling sector is totally analog version of it. Let's say non-digital, in other words. From 2018, whatever we are doing in a company, European company called Alpla, for whom I work, I am doing everything in a digital manner. The process is completely designed by Europeans, which is 100% digital. So the small size mold shop, which is expected to run like a cyber factory where typically the product 3D data comes from Unigraphics. We get the 3D data in STP format, IGS format, or Parasolid format. We get a 3D data, which is cannot be edited. You can say it is in the form of non-editable format. From there, product design, it goes into mold engineering. Again, the data output by mold design is completed. Again, we have a 3D data. So we have mold design with a bill of material, and this process is completely again non-editable. Then it is broken up. The CAM data, the CAD will be followed by CAM programs, and then you have again non-editable CAM data going via network to different machines. It could be milling machine, it could be EDM machine, wire cut machine, grinding machine, and so on. So now it gets into machining, and then it goes to QA, obviously, process after process. Again, we have inspection data generated by CMM, and the data is non-editable. Not only data is non-editable, if we have, for example, a cap to check, the instruments have, the instruments do not allow, like we have to check the product physically. We can tighten the caliper jaws or we can loosen, but the instrument has electronic connections which will measure plastic part or steel part at a specific force, and then the number is fed to the PC. So the inspector, QA inspector, does not have any provision to edit that number by process. He cannot change the dimension, actual dimension again. So the inspection is digital, and the whole process gives you a finished tool. Then we go into tool proving, and then we measure the plastic sample out of it. The complete process is paperless, but for each process outcome, a data can be seen by each user into PC whenever you want for a particular insert or for a particular part. Each data is available on a big 27-inch all-in-one screen right near the machine. Each user can see 3D data. Each user can see the process result. So you exactly know what is the deviation as well. But I would say, I like to say my experience is the most important thing is to map the process right. The process mapping should be done. And with each process being mapped, the process owner should be defined. And there should be one process owner for each process, not more than one. Then it runs, the digital format runs seamlessly, and it gives consistent, repeatable output. But to run a fully digital environment, the skill set requirement is also high. This should be recognizable people. Like for example, Reddy sir was saying that we have robotic cells. But to run robotic cells unattended, fully 24/7, the requirement from that cell manager is the workpiece quantity, cutting tool, all the inputs required to complete that whole 96 cavity or 48 cavity molds should be loaded of right quality, like one particular machining step needs 5 sister tools, then it has to be loaded, preparation has to be done before it starts. Otherwise, the whole process comes to a halt, and then the cell manager would say the digital environment is not good, which is really not the case. So there are, when it comes to scaling up quantity, expanding the horizon is the topic. Digital environment in tooling will definitely help the tooling quality, consistency and quantity to go up, for sure, no doubt. But in a country like India, where we have population of such a huge population, digital environment also reduces the employment opportunities. So I think we need to have approach of hybrid, analog versus digital, to suit our demographic needs. That's my takeaway. Thanks. That's for me.
Very nicely covered. So now we are coming to end of our session. So I want our speakers to give some keywords like kunji. We say na, safalta ki kunji. And I don't want to understand all these things. You just tell me what exactly I have to do. Like Google Map, they say turn right or turn left or go straight. Tell me this. Because when we say expand your horizon, so everybody will think based on his setup, his capabilities, his customer base. And you know, synergy with customer, like customer is telling, bring the things in 3 days. Now, without understanding the limitation of supplier, if you push him, where he will go? He will arrange some new machines or do something, but if you don't give the order next day, what he will do? So like this, so many challenges are there, synergy with customer, then availability of raw material and its cost, then machining technology, the process, then you know that very difficult to get the mold approved or part approved, small litigations, and then if it part is approved, then payment terms. And I'm not talking about quality, it should be 100%. It should be the best. So looking at that, what are the 3 points if you say that if you follow this, you will definitely improve? And to give my input, my point number 1 is to differentiate between the project and program. Program means when you do a production job, you can consider it as a program. Then you have everything ready. You make thousands of parts. But in mold, you cannot make. But try to convert the parts which are common from project to program. So in one machine setting, you can make more parts. Secondly is to do the project management, work on the individual parts making. Don't try to suit the part always. If it is plus, make it minus, or this is some deviation, make it minus. Make it a habit to make individual part perfect as per the drawing. And third is keep offloading which you are not expert in, and take some advice if you are having some problem. So now I will ask Mr. Reddy, what are your kunji of Safalta?
Okay. So just about 15 minutes back, we said there's so many difficulties in this tooling line. Then why somebody wants to be in this tooling line? If we conduct a survey, but still 90% of them want to be in this line itself because they know only this line. Apart from that, the kind of kick they get after 2 months or 3 months of hard work when they see the sample, no blue label or gold label, black label can give you that kick. So
That's true.
So that is why they want to be in this field. They don't want to leave this field. But then you have to believe in 3 M's, which is men, machines, materials. When I say materials, not just the steels, but all the standard parts, various other things. So these 3 M's is 1 point. Second is continuous upgradation of your knowledge on everything. On all these 3 M's, you have to continuously, you may have to take your people to the shows or to the ITAs or wherever, to the different conferences, everywhere, but you have to continuously increase your knowledge levels. Third one is a R&D cell, a small R&D cell. So what makes you different from other supplier is when you have something new, something different. So that can come only when you have a small R&D cell within your factory. So another small point is, I was just speaking to somebody, so we should learn to say no to the customer also. Then one day he will also realize that is what tool making means. So these 3-4 points, one should focus.
Collectively, we should say no, then only it will work.
Of course. Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
Raju bhai, after.
Yeah, so I think my only input is that we have to scale up. You were just mentioning that about 4,000 tool rooms in India.
Yes.
And small city like Taizo has more than that.
Yeah. But only 700 TEGMA members.
Sorry? Yeah, that's a part. But I think we have to scale up, and the opportunity is huge, staring at us, and we should be ready for that. And my input to Dayanand Sahab is that, he was talking about the cost. People are being squeezed. And my take on this is that once the customer realizes the value of time, they will definitely forget this aspect of squeezing you on this thing. Once they understand quality and time, which is, I think that's a matter of time. I think people will understand that, and we have to go through this phase, but I think people will get the good price or real price of their tooling. There is no need of a shortcut in manufacturing. And I have one question, if I can ask.
Please, sir.
To Wankhede Sahab, you were mentioning about method and systems and everything. So I just want to know that how many percentage of manual work or experience has been replaced by software and automation in tooling industry today?
I will answer this question because this is my favorite question. A lot of work is being done. Die makers are required to do blue matching, correct? When we started, we asked this question to our own die maker that what we should do that your pain of blue matching will go away. So he said, get the job machine as per my requirement. And we actually focused on that. Today our blue matching is close to 5% only. We have removed all diamond file from the die makers. You know why? Because the tool, when it is touched by a diamond file, it will give flash forever. At least in electrical and electronic industry. This is what I observed. Best of best tool starts giving flash. When we backtrack to root cause analysis, we found that this particular corner is touched by somebody. And our machines, our processor, cutting tools, everything is capable of delivering what is expected. We should use die makers' knowledge and experience, to plan the process. If we put that person in center, understand what are his difficulty, and if we try to release those difficulty by planning, proper machining, I think lead time, quality, and cost, everything can be easily controlled.
Yeah, so the software is sufficient enough to replace experience?
So it's, I will say, see, experience, always I tell, I give example. Experience is what? 100 बार गिर के एक बार चलना is experience, और एक बार गिर के समझ जाना कि अगली बार नहीं गिरना है. No, that is the expertise part of it. So sometimes we misunderstood that, okay, if you spend 10 बार गिरोगे तो सीखोगे. There is no time today. You have to learn only first time. Find out the method that next time गिरोगे नहीं. So that is what. Again I said faster machines are not a solution, but I think the process is important. Unfortunately, every industry, and at least in India, we have 2 viruses. The first virus is I know everything. So if we don't empty our cup, we cannot take the new challenges. Second virus is chalta hai. So these 2 viruses are killing all manufacturing industry and up to a great extent tooling industry also. Another is since morning I have been observing a lot of problems are being discussed. Of course, tomorrow also we have a full session to discuss the problem. You will observe the problems are not new. Time has come where you have to find out a new solution to it. If we say solution is experienced workforce, forget it is not going to come. You have to build expertise. We have to accept. Third is, yes, a lot of new challenges or new customers, new overseas opportunities are available. But I think in this process, we should not lose our ground. I think we let's grout ourselves so strong that asman niche aa jaye. So I think that is what is my input to you.
Yes.
Raju bhai, I would like to add 2 lines here.
Yeah.
In fact, we are not from automotive, but in our field, we don't do any blue bearing. We go by the product quality. If something is wrong with the product, we go back to the inserts, we machine it, again we put it. So, I mean, we don't believe in blue bearing as far as our kind of molds are concerned. Second thing is on the, the magnifying the capacity here. Once Tim Cook was in Hyderabad. So we have young IT Minister K.T. Ramarao Garu. So he had a conference in such a thing. Then Tim Cook said, in China, if he calls for a tool maker's meeting, you need to select a football ground. So in India, one such small hall is good enough. So that's the difference, because our minister asked him, what makes you to go to China and why you don't come to India? So that's the kind of difference we have, and that's the kind of gap and where we can increase our capacities and presence like anything.
No, that's true. The blue matching thing, because the type of mold I was also making, there is in T0, it should be ready for dispatch. Maximum some small corrections and then that's it. But it is different from automobile. I don't think you can do in, it will be a risk, because if you miss some dimensions, you have to sometimes keep some steel. So I would like to have your 3 points as a final takeaway for our audience, sir.
Okay. So the final time is up. So very brief perspective from my side is, specific to tooling, the process, or be it any business, the ladders are 3. The process must be safe. When I say safe, the environment should be safe, 0 accident for people. That must be ensured first. Then next is, a safe process must produce right quality. Next is quantity. So quantity is linked between the customer and supplier. If the process is safe and producing quality, scale up can be done at any time. And then the last point is whether your business process has people-driven approach or process-driven approach. If you are in a people-driven approach or people-driven environment, set up your process, then quality is going to be varying across time. If the processes are process-oriented, in process-oriented format, then you will get quality, consistently and repeatably. That's the best model to follow for tooling industry. It will give, in long term, good yield and good fame, good name, and recognition globally from our region as well. That's my last submission.
Thank you very much, sir. I think we have covered most of the points which are possible to cover in this short time, and hope you are also happy for our precise closing. It's 5:30. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, could you please thank our panelists and our moderator for that wonderful session. Mr. Chawla, could you please hand over a memento to each of our panelists? To Mr. Anand Wankhede, Head Tool Manufacturing, Engineer Tooling Solutions, Schneider Electric India Private Limited. Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, let's thank him, please. We have Mr. Dayanand, Reddy, Founder and Managing Director, Vasantha Tool Crafts Private Limited. Thank you so much, sir. We have Mr. Raju Desai, Chairman, Jyoti Plastic and Director, Intercontinental Polymer Private Limited. And we have Mr. S.K. Jha, Held Mold Shop. May I please request our Vice President, Tagma India, Mr. D. Shanmugasundaram, to please join us up on stage and hand over a token of appreciation, a memento, to our moderator, Mr. Arvind Chawla. Ladies and gentlemen, let's thank our moderator. Could we please get all of you stepping ahead for a group picture? Thank you so much, gentlemen.